Welcome to my third video in this series about our road trip up through, well, from Florida. I should start at the beginning, shouldn't I? From Florida to North Carolina, on through North Carolina, up through Tennessee, Kentucky, Ohio, and then across over to Iowa, and then back home from Iowa. So in the first video, I covered 2 days. And it was a fairly short video because honestly not much happened. It just rained. We drove for parts of 2 days in the rain. The next video then covered from Bolivia, North Carolina to Black Mountain, North Carolina. Again, a fairly short video in just 1 day, and not a whole lot to see on that one. Now this one's a little more ambitious because I'm going to cover 2 days in this video, and there will be a lot more to see this time. So a little more eye candy this time, and a little bit more adventure and explanation. So we're going to go from Black Mountain, North Carolina, down to Asheville, North Carolina. Then we're going to take a drive up Mount Mitchell. And then from there, we head over to Morristown, Tennessee, where we'll spend the night, have breakfast with some friends the next morning, and then drive on up to Ohio. So that's the circuit that we're going to take today. So just grab something to drink and relax, and we'll see you on the road. Well, it is 8:03 in the morning, and we are checked out from our hotel, and we are hungry. So we Googled a breakfast place. Let's go check it out.
Breakfast in Black Mountain. We discovered through Google Maps this spot that I had no idea it was this cool. This is the Open Oven Brunch and Bakery. We got outdoor seating, which is tempting, but it's just a little chilly this morning. And they got a cool little special menu on the front. And apparently they have a lot of participation in the community here, it seems like. The menu's pretty good. And this here and this menu, and they there, coffee machine. You can see where they're cooking. Serve yourself tea and coffee. They even got the glasses sitting on here for you. And that, and then we're gonna eat back here. And this is kind of the auxiliary dining room, I guess. But yeah, this is one of the most charming places I've been to in a long time. So let us wait for our breakfast, I guess. I have never had sausage and biscuits quite like this. The biscuits are toasted, so that's pretty different. Mildred's omelet looks good. Look how they put the fruit in the dish.
6 kinds of fruit.
6 kinds. Holy cow. Okay, here goes. Good and good for you. Breakfast was amazing, and we are headed into Nashville. We're going to stop at the superchargers and charge. Battery conditioning is working hard. I don't know if it's going to have time to get it fully warmed up. We'll find out what happens when we get to the superchargers. Then from there, we'll go over to the Blue Ridge Parkway Visitor Center. Find out about that before we drive up to Mount Mitchell. And there's our trip summary. It was only 14.2 miles from breakfast. It was just enough time for the battery conditioning to get its job done. So there's our current trip numbers. Since the last charge was only 121 miles. So far since we left Bolivia, 338 miles, 3.3 miles per kilowatt hour. Okay, let's put that. After charging, let's get out and charge. Charging has started. We have this supercharger site to ourselves. Sounds pretty slick. And there's over at the other end of the parking lot, there are 8 more stalls. So let's see what we're getting here. Okay. Still ramping up, it looks like. 70. Keep it going. I think when it conditions the battery, it doesn't necessarily bring it up to exactly where it's supposed to be. But we're getting there. 120. I hear the fans or pumps or something going outside. There we go, full speed. 28%, 24 minutes to 80%. I think I'll go ahead and charge it to 80%. I don't know that we're going to use all that much today, but I want to keep my options open.
People see me there.
I doubt it.
So where is Mount Mitchell?
Let's see, we are here. Let's go this way, and there's Mount Mitchell. And the road is closed right where that dot is there.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I think it's right at the intersection
Mm-hmm.
where Google Maps shows the road being closed. But it's all open there as far as I can tell.
But that's why we're stopped here.
Yeah, they'll tell us for sure
Right.
where we can go. But I think that's it. Have we ever driven the Blue Ridge Parkway when there hasn't been a road closure? Yeah.
I don't think so.
There's a cool display in the Blue Ridge Parkway Visitor Center, and it goes back to the auto touring. We got pictures of people in their old cars and their not quite as old cars. We're in the countryside. Booklets. You see pictures like this in the old family scrapbooks, don't you? Pictures like that. They got the picnic stuff and all of that stuff that went along with it as well. Pretty cool display. Kind of brings back memories if you're an old coot like me. First experience with the Blue Ridge. A few years ago, we drove all the way down Skyline Drive from the north end, all the way down the Blue Ridge Parkway. We were gonna go all the way, but the road was closed here somewhere in this area, and so we wound up having to stop, spend the night in Roanoke, and then came down off the mountain, and then took the back roads back to Interstate 40. And so there's this section in the middle that we haven't covered yet. Years before that, we had come from Asheville, and then we went up this way a ways. I don't remember just how far, but I remember buying a jacket at a visitor center. So I think this was our turnaround point back on that trip. So we've still got this big gap in between that museum and Roanoke here that we haven't been able to visit yet. So we'll revisit the part today up as far as Mount Mitchell. Done with the visitor center, and we've got what's that say, 33.7 miles to go to the summit of Mount Mitchell, and we have 75% state of charge. We'll see what we have when we get there and what we have when we get back. Pretty valley.
Mm-hmm.
Want to get out or not?
Mm-hmm. The farm's down there.
see bears, and I said I didn't think so. Well, I missed that call, didn't I?
Hey, Jerry, it was the pop that we heard was the chip bag that popped open.
That's easy for you to say. Must be the altitude. We have reached the top of Mount Mitchell, or at least the parking lot at the top, and it says we're at 6,585 feet. And let's see, we left the chargers at 75%. We're at 58% now, 2.3 miles per kilowatt hour. We'll see what that 58% turns into when we get back down to Asheville. So let's go walk to the top of the mountain. Well, we made it to the end of the North Carolina Scenic Byway. And yeah, looks a little like the top of the world here. This is the summit. Got a nice viewing area up here at the top. Well, we had pretty good efficiency coming down the mountain, 999 miles per kilowatt hour for the last 20 miles. That was the last time we shut off the car at one of the overlooks. Now this I thought was an interesting screen. This is a new screen on the 26. Was it this one? Yeah. Check that out. Normally it would follow that slanting line down to 0, but we actually gained. We left the summit of Mount Mitchell at 57%, and we got back down here to the visitor center at 59%. So that was pretty efficient driving. And all together, since the charge, we averaged 4.8 miles per kilowatt hour, because we're mostly driving about 35 miles an hour, so you would expect that. But you won't do that in a gas car. Okay, let's go figure out what we're going to do next. From Asheville, we plan to drive to near Knoxville in Tennessee for our overnight, and we figured we would charge near Knoxville at a Pilot Flying J. But what we didn't know was what kind of efficiency we could expect the rest of this afternoon, so that we knew exactly how much to charge. So I wound up doing what Spock did in Star Trek 4. I just guessed. And it worked out fine. We had actually a little more than we needed. Probably could have got away without charging at all, but that's what we did, and it didn't cost us very much time, as you can see. 10:44, and we have arrived at our hotel in Morristown, Tennessee. After that last charge, we stopped and got a little bit more juice at the Tesla Superchargers back in Asheville and charged up to 70%. We're at 52% now after 84 miles and got an amazing 4.9 miles per kilowatt hour. We took back roads and followed slowpokes. So that helped with the efficiency. So we're here plenty early to get cleaned up and get some supper before we hit the sack and go see some friends for breakfast tomorrow morning. Well, it is almost 7:45, and we are on our way to go have breakfast with some friends here in Morristown, Tennessee. And then when we spend an hour or so with them, we are off to Ohio. 7:43 in the morning. We've got 50% state of charge. We'll be heading towards Knoxville after breakfast. And there's Pilot Flying J there where we'll stop and charge. It'll be our first PFJ on this trip. Well, after our breakfast with friends and a quick stop at the post office, we are back on the road again. It's 9:21. We finally made it onto Interstate 81. So heading towards the Pilot Flying J, just this side of Knoxville, Tennessee. And yesterday we stopped at the Superchargers in Asheville just to make sure we'd have enough. That was totally unnecessary. It says that we're going to get to the Pilot Flying J with 35% state of charge, which is quite a bit more than I like to have. So we'll just charge up enough to get up to Richmond, Kentucky, which is should be within easy reach, and we'll see you there. There's a tight formation. Wow. To have a wreck, it's going to be a big one. This is a brand new Pilot Flying J, and I've turned off my Auto Charge Plus because there have been some security issues with it, so I had to go through the app. And when I went through the app, this charging station is so new that it didn't show up. So it took a little finagling, but I finally got it to locate the charger, and we're getting ready to start charging. There we go. So off we go. Got to use my... This is the first time I've had to use the adapter on this trip, and first time I've used it on this car, actually, now that I think about it. So just starting to ramp up. We got here with 35%, already up to 36. Need to get about 75% to comfortably reach the next charger, which will be up in Richmond, Kentucky at the Buc-ee's there. There's Mercedes-Benz 400 kilowatt high-powered charger there, and so that's within easy reach. And so won't take us long to get there. Let's see, what does the car say? To 80%. Let's see. 16 minutes to 80%. There we go. Point the camera in the right direction, that helps. So we won't be here for long, just well, I'd say a quick bathroom break, but it was so soon since we left our breakfast that that's premature. I thought I'd give you a look, if you haven't already seen these Delta chargers at the Pilot Flying J's that EVgo uses. And they get some pretty good details. They don't do you the nice graph like the Alpatronic chargers do. But we're pulling 325 amps and 777 volts, 254 kilowatts. And added 9.5 kilowatt hours in less than 3 minutes. So that's what that screen looks like. So good information to have. We're up to 57% now. Slowed down to 182 kilowatts, but 5.5 minutes to go from 35 to 58%. Not too shabby. Nice thing too about these charging sites at the Pilot Flying J's is they have the trash can and the squeegee,
Oh, there's the one for this one. One right behind it. So, place to put your trash. You don't even have to go inside unless you need the bathroom. All right, we are at 73%. The car says we'll arrive with 9%. And the car is a coward. So let me turn off the car. And let's get unplugged. 11 minutes and 21 seconds. We're up to 74%. We took on 33.9 kilowatt hours. We're still pulling 131 kilowatts. Okay, we're gonna end the session. Click. I just heard it let go. Okay. Have to put down the phone. There we go. All done. I can't seem to take the adapter off and still keep the phone running. But that's the first time I've needed the adapter so far with this car. We're headed up over the big ridge, the north border of Tennessee, between Tennessee and Kentucky. This climbs up to over 2,000 feet. The car at the bottom of the ridge was estimating arrival at 12% when we get to Richmond. Let's see what it says up at the top. It'll give us an idea of how well the car is compensating for terrain when it makes these estimates. Okay, I think we are about up to the top. We're at about 2,200 feet. What does the car say? Arrival, 12%. It didn't seem to make a bit of difference. It just is pretty steady. And we'll see what we actually get. I suspect it'll be at least 15%. 54% right now, and another 97 miles to go. Less than 1 mile to Jellicoe in the state line, and we're almost to the bottom of the ridge. Let's see what the estimate is now for arrival. State of charge. It says 13%. Well, we did slow down a little bit. We were kind of going with the traffic there. We have bottomed out, and we have come to Kentucky. There it goes. It's 195 miles to our next charger. We're at the Mercedes Chargers at the Buc-ee's. And what does it say here? If we add 55% and then we add another 36%, well, basically the car doesn't think we're going to make it. We'll just charge up to 90% or something like that. But we did 146 miles, got 3.4 miles per kilowatt hour, covered it in 2 hours and 13 minutes. Let's get some food and hit the bathrooms. Not necessarily in that order. Okay, we're sharing one of the ChargePoint chargers with a Polestar who is crossed over, so we're crossed over. So anyhow, not doing too bad for sharing. I don't know what their state of charge is, but they're sitting over there eating their meal in their car. And we're up to 22%, and still, even though it's shared, pulling 245 kilowatts. So I suspect they are pretty nearly done. Just hope they don't mess us up when they shut off their charge. Okay, let's come back to the car and see what's going on. Well, we're up to 66% while I went and got a sandwich and a drink, as you can see there. And still pulling 150. Oh, starting to really ramp down. But yeah. Last I saw my wife, she was still on the line to get into the women's restroom. Let's take a look at this place. It's busy. We got a Lightning, we got an Equinox, we got a Polestar, we got our Ioniq 5, we got a Mach-E, we got another Equinox, yeah, we got a Rivian, and the ubiquitous Bolt EUV. We have one of those at home, and the Honda Prologue. So we have one spot open out of all the chargers here. Oh, that Equinox is pulling out. So we're about to have 2 spots open. This joint is jumping. This is by far the busiest charging place I have seen so far on the trip. So, but then again, it's Buc-ee's. Let's see what we've got. Let's do a reroute. And now let's see what it says. Now, it says it wants us to add 23% so we can arrive there with 30%. Yeah, right. I think we can unplug and go. 89%. Let's get out of here. Mildred just got back, and the lines were crazy in there.
Crazy.
Okay. By the way, the place is thinned out quite a bit. Just 1, 2 over there, us, and the lightning that came in a little bit ago. So let us hit the stop button. Okay, let's see. Can't read this thing. There's a question mark and up and down, the price. You know what? I'll just do it in the app. I gotta stop the video here. We're on the road again. We got green arrow up there. Before we know it, we'll be on the road. I have eaten my lunch while Mildred waited in line to buy hers because I found a shortcut. So now she's gonna dig in. So let's go. This is one of those nice times when the Comma AI negotiated a turn as opposed to just a lane change. Okay. North to Lexington. Oh, here we go, up the interstate. Got her, well, I got my Buc-ee's in my belly. Mildred's working on hers. So I was going to ask her how it is, but she's got her mouth full. 193 miles to the charger up in Springfield. That's an Iona charger. We've been there before. By the way, I checked that last charge at the Mercedes. That came out of my ChargePoint credits. So it cost nothing. And I had a bunch of promo codes with EVgo. So the one before that at the Pilot Flying J was also free. So so far we've got well over 200 miles for free. So we'll get another 200 miles for free as well, since that Iona will come out of my ChargePoint credits. And I think that will almost finish it off. Oh, by the way, the car's nav says we need to stop at a Tesla supercharger at 128 miles and add 23% so that we can get to the Iona with 30%. So if we skip that, you would assume we'd get there with 7%. I'm predicting more like 15%. We'll see what happens. Well, our pessimistic car finally gave up on making an extra stop. And now it says we'll arrive with 11%. So, yeah, it'll be a lot more than 11% when we get there. We charged longer than we needed to. Again, not because of the car, but because of just how long it took to take care of what we needed to take care of at the charging stop. Tell me again why the electric car is so much slower than a gas car. Well, we hit 10 miles an hour there for about a half a second. Well, as I recall, the car thought that we were going to have to stop and charge along the way, but we got here with 27%. Thanks in part to a ridiculous 3.6 miles per kilowatt hour. So impressive efficiency. So we're going to plug in here and do a pretty big charge. So we'll have plenty to play with while we're here visiting family. So well, let's get out and get charged. We have company, but we've got the NACS chargers to ourselves here at this Iona at Springfield, Ohio. It's one of my favorite stops. So I'm going to have to stop recording so that I can get the ChargePoint app going. Okay, it's preparing to charge. 38 cents a kilowatt hour. I still have some credit left in the ChargePoint credits. So It'll probably cover this charge. If it doesn't, then we'll be back to having to pay our own way. Gosh, won't they be a shame? But yep, there's the car saying charging started. So let's watch her ramp up for a little bit before we go inside and do what we got to do inside. Gotta love these Alpitronic chargers. So we had there was a Volkswagen Golf over here, and then we got a Mach-E over at the other charger, and we've got plenty of NACS ports available. This charger's out of Sheets outside of Springfield, Ohio, right along I-70. Ooh, check out the Corvette. Ha. Now that is awesome. I think that's about a 65 maybe. Looks original. Probably not, I'm sure it's been painted, but wow, that's gorgeous. I always wanted one of those when I was a kid. Still charging merrily away, up to 60%. And from the, was it 27% we started at? And it's taken 8 minutes and 32 seconds while I went inside and went to the bathroom and got a soft drink. And let's see what the details look like. Okay. Topped out at 256 kilowatts. And pulling 182 kilowatts right now. See how long it is before it starts to ramp down. But I want to get up over 80%, maybe 90%, something like that. So we're at 62% now, and it shouldn't take too long to get the rest of what I want. The Mach-E is still over there. I like that color. Oh, we got another Ioniq 5 over there. Ah, that's a nice color. Okay, I went over and talked to the owner of the Ioniq 5. He gave me his email address, wants to stay in touch, loves the car. And talked to the driver of the Mach-E. That's a GT. It's actually her husband's car, but they absolutely love it too. So let's see how this thing is doing. We're at 86%. So yeah, we've used up $22 worth of our credit. So I think there'll be a little bit left over after this. What's the detail look like? Yep, that's the stair step. Pretty standard stuff. So yeah, we topped out at 255 kilowatts. That was, well, let's see, 85% now. So we started 27. That probably maxed out around 50%. Hard to tell for sure. Have to stay here and monitor it if I want to know for sure. So I let it go to 90% or so, or whenever my wife gets back from wherever she is over there. She's over at the Sheets. So when she gets back, we'll unplug and go and head up to our hotel in Marion. We are almost to our hotel, and we stopped by Matthews Ford here in Marion, Ohio. They've got a couple of 180 kilowatt Blink chargers here, and they are just right out in the open. You can just pull right in, no gates. I usually don't like charging at dealerships because a lot of times they're hard to access or the chargers are iced, but this is terrific. 180 kilowatt Blinks. I have a Blink account. I tried to use the app to start it, but the chargers aren't labeled as to which one is which. So I had to guess 4 times, and all 4 times it didn't work with the app. My car would just say charging unsuccessful. And so I used the credit card, and it worked just fine with the credit card. So they have instructions on the front, but there's no labels. The charger ID and location are blank on both of these dispensers. But pulling pretty good power. I was getting 160 something there for a while. These are 180 kilowatt chargers, but you know, I showed up with over 66%. So I wouldn't expect very fast charging, but I think this will come in handy. I'm going to get unplugged. We don't need it right now. We're at 75%. So let's get to the hotel and get checked in and get some sleep,
Got lots of stuff to do tomorrow. So I'll see you next time something interesting happens, if any of this is interesting to you. It is to me, so that's why I'm doing this.